Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. Really appreciate you being here. My name is Tim Miller. I am a physical therapist and a physical therapist who transitioned to working in the clinic. I'm sorry, transitioned from working in the clinic into a full-time academic job, and have experience again from going from a clinician to working as a faculty member, and I now work, for a remote education company working on curricular and faculty development, with my main passion being that faculty development piece. Again, have experience there. While I was in, while I was a full-time faculty member, I earned my EDD in educational technology and really just kind of found a passion for teaching and learning and working with faculty members. So overall, that's a little brief background about me. Now today, what we're going to be doing is kind of continuing this series about, so you've got hired as a faculty member, now what? The three main areas of that, or the three-part series of going over each area is, as a faculty member, you're required to do teaching, service, and scholarship or research. So last time I went over the brief teaching um, component, or I went over the teaching component briefly, and now this time what I really want to go over is the area of being faculty that I think to most, sounds the most scary, and for some may not even be interesting, is that research and scholarship. So I really just want to go over, what does that mean? What will I have to do? As a faculty member, or if you just got hired, or you are in the application process of thinking, what does it mean? What do I have to do? Why do I have to do this? And, again, research may feel like that big scary thing over there that you don't even want to look at, or you're not even that interested in. So in this session, I just want to briefly answer those questions for you and help clarify what it is, what it isn't, and really let you know why it's nothing to be worried or scared about. So to start off, participating in research is part of the accreditation standards. This can be regional accreditation for the university, so they can award degrees, and also the program accreditation. So for example, for PT programs, it's the CAPTE accreditation. So, simply put, faculty must demonstrate participation in scholarly activities. There's just no avoiding it. But again, don't let that discourage you if research isn't your thing. Um, you know, when you hear the word research or being a researcher, you may, like me at one point, think of, perhaps a scientist conducting experiments in a lab, or someone running a large randomized controlled trial. So these classic ideas of research are really only a very small sliver of what encompass a scholarly agenda for a faculty member. It may be those things, but again, it's only a really small sliver. So overall, thankfully, what counts as research is very broad, and in my experience, fairly simple to meet the university or program accreditation requirements. So, while there is a research requirement, the burden of proof of your involvement in research, again, isn't only just, all right, you need to publish, articles in journals and run these huge trials or those types of things. Again, those count, and those can be part of it, but it's not the only way. So, many of you may already be participating in research and scholarship and not even know it. So, for example, presenting at local, state, or even national conferences. So, that could be a poster presentation, a platform presentation, or even an education session presentation. So all that counts. And in my experience, is a large way that especially many junior faculty members who have a large teaching load meet their scholarly requirements. Overall, it's fairly easy to do. And, I used to think that participating in any of those activities was, just really difficult, or that or maybe even felt a little bit like I'm not sure I'm qualified to do those, or where do I even begin? But thankfully, I was wrong. Most of that presentation type scholarship requires you to write a short abstract and submit it to that particular conference. And writing those abstracts is pretty simple and straightforward and not that different than some of the work that you did to earn your clinical doctorate or your clinical degree, whether it's DPT, OTD, or even, or any of your graduate work that you may have done as well. So, the point is, all of you have the capability to do it. And the one thing that is nice that I didn't learn until later is you don't really have to do the hard work until it gets accepted. So the abstract is the idea, and then if it gets accepted, it's like, oh, now I need to to create whatever that is. And so that's a little bit of a nice way that abstracts work, because you submit the abstract, get a yes or no, and if it is yes, then you can focus your efforts on creating that product. Other examples that of what counts is, this was the case for me when you go back to school for a terminal degree. I got, I mentioned I earned my EDD in educational technology. Simply being enrolled in courses counts and gives you, some credit for that, to, in the sense of, well, you're taking all of these, you're taking all these courses, you're involved in research within your own degree program. So, thankfully, it didn't have to also have, production of or participation outside of that while I was enrolled in that program. So again, there is flexibility, within what counts. And as a junior faculty member or just getting started, it can be this gradual ramp up. The other thing I want to share about this is the great thing about being a faculty member is, you're not a faculty member of one. You're part of a faculty team with many bright individuals and seasoned faculty members who have experience fulfilling scholarly requirements and are able to help. So you don't have to figure it out on your own totally. In my experience, faculty tend to team up in participating in research, whether it's, again, submitting abstracts or, for conference presentations, or conducting a study, or joining a study that's already in progress, or submitting an article. There are ways you can get involved. The challenging thing, and the thing that I like to help faculty members with through mentoring is really, and I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, but really not just doing something just to do it, to check the box to be involved in those scholarly activities. Because as a junior faculty member myself, I was like, someone's like, hey, let's I want you to get involved in this study, and then I start looking at it and doing the work, and I'm like, oh, this is A, not interesting to me, B, taking a lot of my time, and I could have earned scholarly credit elsewhere of something that would have interested me a little bit more. So again, just being part of that faculty team, I think it's important to know what you're getting, what you're getting yourself into if you're teaming up on certain projects. So you also may be thinking, wow, it's a relief that there are things that I know I can do that are pretty simple to get those credit, to get credit for being, for your scholarly agenda. But you may be thinking you can't fathom what topic you might submit an abstract on, or even what topics would be of interest. And that definitely was me, as I was so focused on, all right, I'm a faculty member, I'm teaching, and it's like, well, do research. Like, oh, I have no idea. I don't even know where to start with that. But it's okay that you don't know that right now. Finding the topics and type of scholarship that most interests you takes time. And at least for me, took experience in participating in different projects, like I mentioned. And after participating in some projects, I paired up with other faculty members. I found that I particularly loved educational research and presenting on my passion of teaching and learning and best practices around that. So, and I also found I really enjoyed presenting at conferences, at all different levels, whether poster or platform or education session, and those types of things, as opposed to just strictly writing articles or that type of thing. But that journey took me many years of being a faculty member to figure out. But the point is, it takes time. It's okay you don't know what topics or type of scholarship that most interest you. But again, my hope is that I could be able to at least help you think through those things, and and as I'll mention, kind of learn from my growing pains in terms of that. So again, with this, this really brief session, I just wanted to give a big picture, brief overview of what scholarship requirements are and a few ways to meet those requirements. And, and hopefully you have a better understanding and ideally feel less scared about that part of being a faculty member. You know, if you're anything like me, I was just, again, so excited to teach, and I didn't give much thought about the scholarship. However, you know, it's really important to think about so that you can meet those requirements, like I mentioned, efficiently and in a way that not only interests you, but lets you grow as a professional and help you learn you know, from my you know, my experiences, you know, which aren't the only, but just say, hey, you know, you're going to have this scholarly requirement. Let's think about ways that, you know, what interests you, or what are some projects you can be involved in, or even, you know, how would I submit a platform presentation or a poster, you know, like just being involved in, you know, in that way. So, you know, uh, this is where, you know, again, as being a faculty member as whole is where my expertise lies and where I'm most passionate about, with helping and mentoring faculty in in all three of those pillars of being a faculty member. Again, that teaching, the research scholarship, and, you know, in the service. And so part three of the series will go into that service aspect. And, you know, I think as a new faculty member, again, and I mentioned this in the teaching sessions, you only think about the teaching like, oh, there's these other requirements. What do those mean? What do I have to do? How do I figure those out? You know, how do I align those in ways that are fulfilling and interesting to you and not just checking a box as well? So, you know, again, I go into much more detail about that, about all of these, you know, in particular, you know, what you need the help most in the faculty mentoring program at Clinical Connection. So within that 6-month program, you get the one-on-one faculty mentoring and faculty development sessions with me to help you more specifically. So better, and if we're talking about research, you know, help you better understand what research requirements are as a faculty member, or how to think through being involved in research that aligns best with your interests, and how to, you know, save you time and best meet those requirements and kind of align yourself in a way that you know, that'll help support you with your teaching duties, your faculty duties, and, you know, have it be just a win-win all the way around. In addition to helping navigate those requirements, you know, again, like I mentioned, help support developing a faculty member, focusing on where you need the most support and mentoring. So it could be, you know, teaching requirements such as building courses or instructional design, you know, creating assignments, writing rubrics, you know, the scholarship requirements like writing abstracts or things to go through or think about in terms of meeting those requirements. And in the next session, we'll talk about those service requirements and what that looks like, and what to expect there. So, um, you know, so if this is something you'd like some support and guidance in, you can send me a direct message, or you can, you know, type teach in the comments below, and you know, I'd be happy to reach out to you and talk more and share details of the faculty coaching program and answer any questions that you may have. So I hope that you learned something new today. Again, the next session we'll be going over that third faculty requirement, you know, service. And again, you know, please go ahead and, you know, write your comments or any aha moments or something that really stood out to you or something new that you learned. I want to thank you for watching, whether you're on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. And if you have any questions about what I talked about today, please reach out or leave me a message in the comments. Thank you so much.